We're celebrating our 10th birthday by chatting to our boss, Stephen Pickett.
You're going to laugh. But,
Go for it.
I wanted to be a lead singer of a band.
Dan will take you back in time to check out the evolution of our website, and I'll tell you about some legendary videos from the Newcastle Live archive. Produced on a Wubbacool and Warramai land, this is The Good Stuff powered by BYD on Newcastle Live.
This is
Good.
good
Stuff.
The good stuff.
Here are some of our favourite videos that we posted back in the day. Amy V was the first muso to ever perform in the warehouse. This recording takes place on the platform that now holds our studios. One of the most loved videos on our channel captures Dave Gleeson and the late Paul Wazine telling us how the Screaming Jets got their name. And of course, the very first video we ever posted 10 years ago, which was at Muso's Corner for a Parkway Drive meet and greet. We cannot get enough of the side fringes and scene outfits. To check out more, you should go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Good. Newcastle Live publisher and CEO, Stephen Pickett, is the other brain behind Newcastle Live as we know it. Here's the chat that we had with Steve to celebrate our 10th birthday. I want to kick things off by asking you for a little bit of a timeline of your career, because you've lived multiple lives in this time that you've been on Earth. Tell me how you first got into the music industry and, you know, your journey to where we are now.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
We are talking prehistoric times here. Once the dinosaurs were away. No. My interest in music was piqued by a television show that was fairly new back in around the late 70s, mid-70s. And it was a show called Countdown, which I know you've heard of. You've never seen, I don't think.
I think I've only seen clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
But no, technically not.
With a bumbling host called Molly Meldrum.
Yep.
And I remember I just was captivated with bands like the Little River Band and Kiss, and just went, oh, wow, what's all this about? So I started learning about music. I learned how to put a PA system together and started doing live sound. But the prospect of getting a job in the music industry, I applied at a recording studio, multiple recording studios, with no success to try and get in as a trainee engineer. But I couldn't do it, just couldn't get in. So I decided, well, if there's not a path for me there, I'll have to create one. So I became a school teacher for a number of years, which was fantastic, I must say. Teaching at Katara High School in particular was just fantastic. And you may know the jazz drummer Andrew Dickerson. He was in that period of time, and the guy that's actually hosting all of the carols by candlelight, John Foreman, does all the musical direction. He was at Katara High at that time.
Yeah, okay.
So a very talented bunch. But yeah, became a school teacher, but teaching during the day and then doing sound for bands at night.
Wow.
So and working at Walton's department store, which is just across the road, or was just across the road here.
And that was about the time that Money for Nothing came out, right?
Yeah, it was.
Because whenever I hear that song, I think about you. It's an epic song, but you were literally living out what was going on pretty much.
Yeah, it was. I remember singing it with the drummer that I was working with in Walton's. Yeah. So, anyway, it got to the point where I was able to leave teaching, and I opened a recording studio, became a record producer, engineer, and did a whole bunch of local stuff. It was really good.
Yeah.
Loved it. And I remember sitting in my studio very late or very early one morning and just going, wow, this is amazing, you know, to be able to actually do this and to have it, you know, it's like being in here, I guess, you know, which was fantastic. But a lot of the musicians that came in were being ripped off by local agents. And so I decided to start a booking agency.
Yeah.
So I have done that, which is still around today, 30-something years that's been going.
EAO.
When you want to book a band, ring EAO. That's it, yeah. To the tune of Old MacDonald.
Yeah. Genius.
I know. Should have made an ad, but never did.
Yeah, what? It's never too late.
I know. Maybe you can do it now. So EAO became more and more successful and employed more and more people. And then somewhere around about 2013, 14, newspapers started to die, and there was there was a part of a newspaper called That's Entertainment, and it was sold between newspapers and eventually died. And it was all about the entertainment industry, covered all the artists and all the venues and all that stuff. And that died. And I thought, that can't happen.
No.
So we began to plant the seeds of Newcastle Live, and I had to have lots of board meetings to try and get the okay to go forward and spend an extraordinary amount of money to try and get this going. And I needed to find the right person to help me build this vision. And I spent 12 months interviewing people and came across one, Daniel Beasley, who I just thought was a genius. And still to this day, I think he's a genius. And was able to articulate my vision to him and then watch him build and make it come alive, which has been an incredible journey. And, you know, from doing sound to be able to then booking agents, recording studio, and then to be able to work with Newcastle Live and such fabulous, talented people has been an honour. Yep. It's been fantastic. So that sort of summarises and brings us to today. Not very exciting, but at the time,
exciting.
It was at the time. And I owned a record store in the middle there as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Which JB Hi-Fi wasn't happy about, so they made sure that we didn't work.
Yeah,
but eventually sold it.
Before we get into Newcastle Live, I want to go back to Countdown. What was it about Countdown that really intrigued you? Like, did you want to see yourself in the position of, say, Molly Meldrum, or was it the sound that interested you? What was it?
You're going to laugh. But,
go for it.
I wanted to be a lead singer of a band.
Yeah, cool.
There was one problem, though. I couldn't sing.
I doubt that.
No, I couldn't. I wasn't a great singer. And the other problem that arose, because I did start a band and was in a band, we were called the Tweeds, and we played 3 gigs before we broke up.
Yeah.
But I found that the guitar player, who started out being fairly ordinary, became rapidly very good.
Yeah.
The bass player the same, the drummer the same. I just wasn't interested in sitting down rehearsing day after day after day. It just wasn't my thing. So I soon realised the buzz that I got was actually creating the sound for the people that had the talent. And I thought, well, you know, if I don't have the talent to be a musician, perhaps I can work around musicians because they have the same passion as a musician, just not the talent part.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to, I really believed that music's transformational. You know, it's one of the arts that can really change things. And I just wanted to be a part of that and to do what I could to promote and create things that would transform.
Looking back, when you were recording and mixing, what were some of your favourite things, and who were some of your favourite acts that you worked with?
The one that I still work with today, Dave Carter, I just was blown away by that man's musical talent. He is just probably singly the most talented musician I've worked with. Incredible. He can play anything, sing anything. But also James Vidler and his band, the Goddards. I remember that really well. I guess the thing for me was people coming in with a raw demo and then turning it into a song and watching their reactions as well. And then also watching things chart and sell. And, you know, that was really a buzz as well. But I think just sitting in the studio creating, I think the process of starting with nothing and then creating something out of that nothing is the amazing thing about creativity.
So now getting to Newcastle Live, you told us about, you know, TE and kind of filling in that gap. What was the original vision? And after working on it for a while, what did you end up with when it first went public?
So it started out as a Facebook page and just posting because that's all I could do. I was pretty, you know, I wasn't digitally savvy to the extent that I needed myself to be, which is why Dan was such a heaven-sent thing. But originally it was just to promote gigs here and there, so a Facebook page was created, and then out of that, I'm trying to remember, I think we started doing something else socially as well, and then Dan came on board and we built the website. And originally it was a gig guide with some content, and then we decided to move into some more a sort of wider cultural perspective where we started to include some lifestyle aspects, and we found out some amazing things about Newcastle. For example, they love fried chicken.
Yeah.
They do. They love fried chicken. And it was amazing to watch. I guess the buzz for me, there's 4 groups of people that I think have played a big part in this journey. And I think the first part is the Newcastle public. Like, they've really bought into Newcastle Live. When you think that there are over 100,000 people that engage with the website, and then there's, well, for you, for example, there's over 100,000 people watching the good stuff in October. Like, that's amazing. You must feel pretty proud and amazed, and which gives me a buzz.
Yep.
Because that's the second group of people, is the talented team around me. You know, it's just, Dan is so amazing, you're amazing, and then we've got the other team members who are also really great at what they do. I'm really grateful because not everybody gets to do this.
Totally.
The other group of people that need to be thanked are the clients that have come on board here. You know, the people that are, all the businesses in Newcastle, the musically related ones. You know, I think of people like Mick at the Stag.
Yeah.
You know, and just how supportive they have been over the years. And now we've got electric cars sponsoring programs.
Yes.
And it's fantastic. Those cars are pretty amazing.
They're pretty schmick. They are beautiful cars.
To pull over by the side of the road and plug your guitar amp in and just have a play. Pretty
It's
amazing.
pretty cool.
It is.
So I'd love to know, this is going to be a two-parter. First off, I want to know about online. What have been some of your favourite online moments that have happened through Newcastle Live?
That's a really hard one. I'm trying to remember. We've done well over 8,000 pieces of content on the website.
Yeah.
Plus there's what you got. To be honest, I think it's watching the good stuff, you know, and I guess being old and my memory's fading, the most recent things are the clearest. So watching the good stuff this year has been pretty amazing. And to watch those numbers start at, 5,000 people watched. And then I think it was in August it hit 90 something, and then in October it was 106,000 people. Like, that's a buzz. That is really a buzz, and to be part of that. Other online moments, the Kentucky Fried Chicken thing was just amazing. I guess the online moments are too many and varied to actually articulate one or two.
Totally.
Live moments are different.
Yeah, tell me about in-person moments.
Okay, I guess one of the biggest buzzes I've had was one of Dan's favourite people was John Toogood out of She Had or Pacifier. And I knew that, he was a bit of a hero for Dan. And the day that the interview was arranged and Dan was going to interview him, and just watching in anticipation of that day coming.
Yeah.
And the buzz that he got to not only meet him but sit down and talk to him. And I think they had a little bit of a bond. And I think that was a favourite moment for me. Another favourite moment was when, like any new business, you start off, and when Newcastle Live start off, you've got to establish credibility. And we wanted major touring acts in Australia to go, okay, if we're playing in the Hunter, we want to advertise with those guys and promote and get interviewed and all that sort of stuff. And when we started off, it was tough, as it always is with something new. But one day in 2014, the Rolling Stones rang up. And it just blew my mind. It wasn't their agency. It wasn't, unfortunately, Mick O'Keefe, but it was their people that rang up and wanted to book advertising for their show in November up in the Valley, which I went to. And that, I just remember that moment. It was almost like a validation of, the Rolling Stones. Okay, you can't get much bigger than that. So that was great. And there's so many other things, watching William Crichton more recently, just he's a blow-away performer. There's people like William John Jr., Georgie Winchester. There's a great new single about to come out from the Autumn Hearts. It's called Mr. Sunshine. I hope I'm not giving anything away, but it is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait for it to come out. It's a lovely piece of pop. It's not anything deep, but it's a great song about the sunshine and what it brings into your life. But lots of great live moments, meeting so many people, watching you being really nervous to interview various artists in the first years of because you came on board as a technical person and you moved over into the broadcasting section, and so you interviewing Jessica Mauboy, Vanessa Amorossi, our amazing interview with Tex Perkins.
That was fun. That was a lot of
crazy.
Fun. Chaos.
Yeah, it was chaos, but that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's, I think the biggest buzz for me is not necessarily what I do, it's watching the people I work with and what they do. That's the buzz.
Brilliant. Well, Steve, thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Bonnie.
Thank you for creating what you have, because it's an absolute pleasure to work here, and I mean it wholeheartedly that I would not want to be anywhere else. So thank you.
That's good to hear, and it's so great to see, and thank you to you, thank you to Dan and all the Newcastle Live crew.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Bonnie.
This is where it sounds good.
Good stuff.
As you know, we've been celebrating 10 years of Newcastle Live all week, And today we posted a retrospective of some of the most loved stories we've posted over the last 10 years. Head over to the website to see some of your favourite interviews, gig reviews, and everything in between. The party doesn't stop there though. Keep your eye on our socials all week. We've got heaps to share with you.
Good stuff.
That's it for the good stuff today. I'd love to say a big thank you to Steve for joining us for a chat. Thanks heaps for joining us. Here's to another 10 years, and we'll see you at 4 p.m. tomorrow for something very special.